The top 10 worst things the government did to black people. For decades, the struggle to free the slaves was marked by difficult, sad, and painful moments. After abolition, everything seemed to take a completely different course. Without slaves and with equal rights for all, or so it seemed, the United States of America started to promote policies that were far from being considered fair. They continued to entrench racism against people of African descent. Today, I bring you the top 10 worst things that the United States government has done to black people. Number 10. The Tulsa, Oklahoma Massacre. The Tulsa Massacre, which occurred in 1921 in the Greenwood, Oklahoma neighborhood, was a thriving African-American community known as Black Wall Street. The massacre began after an elevator incident between a young African-American man named Dick Rowland and a young white woman named Sarah Page. Rowland was arrested, and rumors of the incident spread quickly, fueling racial tensions in the city. The white mob, armed and supported by local authorities, attacked the African-American neighborhood of Greenwood, setting fire to homes, businesses, and buildings. It is estimated that at least 300 people, mostly African Americans, were killed and thousands left homeless by the destruction. Local authorities failed to take adequate measures to stop the violence and in fact contributed to the destruction. Number 9. May 18, 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson. On May 18, 1896, in the case of Plessy versus Ferguson, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that it was legal to have separate public facilities for blacks and whites as long as they were equal. This led to segregation in public places for many years, until it was overturned in the 1950s. This decision legalized racial discrimination and caused serious problems in the struggle for equality. Number 8. Syphilis. In the past, even when a treatment for syphilis existed, many African Americans were left to die from the disease. Although drugs were available to cure syphilis, researchers in the Tuskegee syphilis study, conducted from 1932 to 1972, did not adequately treat African Americans with the disease. The participants, mostly poor African Americans, did not receive adequate treatment even after penicillin became an effective cure in the 1940s. Number 7. Yellow fever in Philadelphia. In 1793, a serious disease called yellow fever struck Philadelphia, causing much fear and death. Yellow fever is spread by mosquitoes and could be fatal. Although the disease affected people of all races equally, the black community was unfairly blamed for the spread of yellow fever. Segregationist measures were implemented, such as the mandatory quarantine of blacks in the city. In addition, blacks who assisted in the medical care and treatment of the sick were treated with suspicion and often assigned dangerous and unrecognized tasks. Number 6. Religious imposition. Most indigenous communities were forced to believe in certain religions, and black were no exception. African Americans were often forced to adopt the religion of those who colonized or enslaved them. This was not only an attempt to impose control, but also a way to justify slavery and racial discrimination. Number 5. The AIDS epidemic. Another example would be during the AIDS epidemic, where blacks, like most issues in America, had the highest mortality rate from the disease. Hospitals did not provide them with medical help or consultations due to racial idealization. Number 4. Modern genocide. Something we cannot overlook is the genocide against black people, which refers to persistent patterns of violence, discrimination, and inequality faced by black communities in several countries. This includes police violence, discrimination in the justice system, disparities in education, and limited access to economic opportunities. These issues have led to protests and movements such as Black Lives Matter, which fight racial injustice and advocate for equality. Number 3. The crack epidemic. And let's not forget, there was the crack epidemic, which was an increase in the use of crack cocaine in the 1980s and 1990s released into black communities by the United States government. This epidemic disproportionately affected black communities in the United States. Many blacks were arrested and incarcerated due to harsh anti-drug laws, which led to prison overcrowding. In addition, the crack epidemic contributed to violence and instability in these communities, affecting families and employment opportunities. For the most part, blacks were arrested because of stereotypes that blacks were the ones who stole and used drugs in large numbers. Number 2. Slavery. And as part of one of the aberrations that white supremacy did to black people, There was slavery. Back in the 19th century, many African Americans and mostly African people were taken as pets and laborers, in addition to being treated with physical abuse such as whippings, lack of food, abuse, and experimentation, among many others. Number 1. Colonization. Africa's struggle. It all, even slavery, began with colonization. The Europeans wanted to expand all over the world and create colonies, so little by little they took indigenous peoples, blacks, and other types of races. An example of this would be the human zoos, where after their successful colonization, they took most of the inhabitants as prizes and exhibited them as animals in cages. Despite all this, the civil rights movements, protests against police brutality, and ongoing activism have exposed the depths of racial discrimination. As societies evolve, a new consciousness emerges, along with a genuine desire for change and a collective determination to dismantle racist structures. Do you agree with our list? What event in American Black history did we miss? Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. See you next time.